Hi guys, so it's Zayn and I here, and it's been a few weeks since you've seen a vlog, and all you parents out there know why. It's because when you think you have a minute to yourself, boom, cry, or diaper change, or hungry. It's go time all the time. So Zayn is here sleeping. He usually doesn't wake up when anyone is speaking around him, but if there are like loud sounds, like if the door slams or something falls, he will jump, but he doesn't usually jump for voices. So he got his shots yesterday. You could see one of the bandages on this leg. He got it on both legs. He was actually supposed to get a third shot, but apparently it's not in the country at the moment. So he'll get that at his next vaccination time. So he's sleeping on his elephant, and I don't leave him to sleep on this unsupervised. Babies at this age, they're supposed to sleep on their backs, but Zayn has a little bit of congestion, so sleeping on an incline actually helps him. And you could hear him snoring a little. I don't know if you're hearing him. That's also because of the congestion. So one of the reasons, I should say the main reason why you haven't seen vlogs from me is because Zayn was actually hospitalized for 7 days. When he was 2 weeks old, we noticed that he was having some trouble breathing. So we took him to Mount Hope, Rahan and I. Mom was there as well. And that's when we learned that it was congestion, and one of the reasons was possibly because of the Sahara dust that's blowing thickly over Trinidad. There were a number of babies there with the same problem. So, we were there for the day. He was nebulized with saline, and we came home in the afternoon. And we thought that everything was, fine. But then 3 weeks later, when he turned 5 weeks, the breathing problem returned. And when I say problem, it was as if he was working to breathe, like he was doing this, head bobbing, which is a sign that they're having trouble breathing. His nose was flared, so that's another thing to look out for. And he was making a grunting sound. All those are signs that your baby is having trouble to breathe. So I contacted one of my mom's friends, who's actually a house officer at San Fernando General Hospital, who told me to bring him in. And when they checked him out, they said because he was so small, they wanted to keep him to monitor him. They put in an IV for him, and Rahan had to hold him for that IV because he was screaming and I was crying my eyes out. I couldn't deal with it. And they did an x-ray on him. They did various checks, and they determined that he had bronchiolitis, which is a congestion problem. It's an infection, or virus, I should say. It's a virus in the lungs. And usually babies who are older can deal with it, like if it's a common cold. But because Zayn was a newborn at the time, 5 weeks, barely living a long life, they insisted that they keep him. So we were there for 7 days, and those 7 days I wish I could erase from my memory. Zayn was hooked up to IV fluids. He was hooked up on oxygen. He had the blood pressure monitor on his foot. The first night they didn't want me to feed him, so he was screaming for hours. And the reason why they didn't want me to do that is to ensure that fluid didn't go into his lungs and cause him to asphyxiate. So that alone was heartbreaking to go through. Um, I used a pacifier to try to comfort him, and that would work to fool him for probably moments, but he would only sleep after he cried for hours and got tired. Coming down to the third days when I could have fed him properly and hold him, because the second day they had me feeding him like 5 mLs of breast milk with a syringe, so that was another experience. Um, the IV access caused his arm to get swollen, so they had to take that out and put in another arm. That was the next set of drama. Also, another mishap happened in that the oxygen apparatus that's hooked up on the wall came out and turned over, so fluid went into his nose and he started to choke. And luckily, one of Rahan's friends, who's a nurse, was in the room at the same time, and she just ran to him and turned him over. Rahan was just still in shock because when the apparatus flew out the wall, it hit Rahan, and he caught it. So it was just one thing after the next. But even though those little mishaps happened, I must say that the doctors and the nurses were very, very supportive, kind. They answered all my questions. I didn't have a problem at all. By the 5th day, I was ready to go home, but they still wanted to keep Zayn. I mean, I never left the hospital. What Rahan and I did was that I would stay with Zayn throughout the day. Mom would come up in the morning to stay with him so that I could shower and eat in the morning, and then she would come back for visiting hours in the afternoon. So I would do the same thing. And then around midnight, between midnight and 2 a.m., Rahan would come up because, he had to work. So he would work, go home, see about the animals, get a little bit of sleep, come up to the hospital. So yeah, between midnight and 2 a.m., he would stay with Zayn and I would go down in the car and sleep. The reason is that they didn't want 2 parents in the room at the same time. And that was the one thing I had a problem with. If the child is like over 5 years old, I think that's fine having one parent. But if the child is under 5 years old, I think it takes 2 persons to help care for that child, especially if mishaps were happening. Like, I could not take my eyes off of Zayn, especially if he's having a breathing problem. I mean, the moment you look away or you're not there, you're thinking, oh my god, is he still breathing? So that was my one issue. I think for newborns, babies, at least until the child can walk and talk, both parents should be allowed to stay with him. And so that was my one thing. But other than that, I didn't have a complaint. So yeah, and by the 7th day, when I thought that we would be getting to go home, the doctor said, Zayn showed continuous improvement every day. He didn't get a fever, which was amazing, which was great. It was a good sign. He just still had a bit of wheezing, and they wanted to keep him until the wheezing was over, but I couldn't stay there any longer, and I decided to discharge him. The main reason I did that is because there were a lot of children coming in with these breathing problems, congestion, the cold, one thing after the next, and it was because of the Sahara dust. And because of the limited space, they were coming in the room that Zayn was in as well. So Zayn, being a newborn around children who are 5 years and up, who are sneezing and coughing while he's recovering, wasn't a good thing for me or for him. I told the doctor that. I said, you know what? Zayn is off of IV antibiotics. He was off of all of the tubes and monitors at the time. They were just keeping a check of his blood pressure and pulse. He was being given oral medication, which I could do at home, and he was being nebulized, which I could have done at home as well because we have a nebulizer. We also have a pulse oximeter at home that we use to check his oxygen and pulse, and that's something maybe new parents can invest in as well. Just even if your baby is not sick, you could always have it just to keep your mind at least to know that, oh, your baby's getting proper oxygen and, he's fine and whatever. So yeah, I pleaded that case with the doctor, and I said, it's mostly because 6 children are in the room with my baby while he's recovering. How is he supposed to recover? So I discharged him. We came home, and since then, Zayn has been. Oh, we're talking about you, baby. Since then, Zayn has improved so much. We're actually lying down on a mattress in the living room right now, and this is where my mom sleeps since we came home. She sleeps on this mattress with Zayn, so she lets me sleep in my bedroom so that she could care for him. My dad sleeps on the day bed. They tag team taking care of Zayn most of the time so that I could rest, so that I could pump milk, so I could eat properly, so I could get a break. And it really does take a village to take care of a baby, and they're my village. My parents, I could not have done this without them. Even my brothers, Isha and Ari, they step in to hold him when they see that, mom is at work, dad is cooking or washing Zayn's clothes. They'll come and they'll sit with him so that I could get a break. My village has shown me amazing support. Rahan works during the day. He will come on an evening to bond with Zayn and to help out. But at the end of the day, he goes home to see about our animals. He would come and spend weekends with us, as in spend the night. So it's mostly mom, dad, and myself with Zayn. And we all sleep in the living room, take turns to make sure that he's fed, changed, make sure that he's breathing, make sure that he gets nebulized, he gets his saline drops in his nose. So for you moms and dads out there who has a baby that has congestion, that's what you have to do. You have to put saline drops in their nose, and if you have a nebulizer, you could use 2 ml of saline solution in a nebulizer. How many times during the day that you think they may need it. You won't see any pictures or videos of Zayn's hospital experience in any of the vlogs. While I did take pictures and videos, I've stored that on my laptop. I never want to see it again. I never want to relive that experience again. I don't even want Zayn to see himself like that. So it's something that, yes, I want to erase from my memory, but I've learned a lot from it, and it's not something I want to share. I don't want to scare other parents, and at the same time, I acknowledge that there are parents who are going through way worse. There was a mother in the same room with me with her son, and her son actually flatlined like 4 times within the past 2 months. I don't know where she gets the strength to deal with that. I really don't. So while for me, Zayn being hospitalized for 7 days with a, congestion was like me feeling to die, there are parents out there who are going through way worse. There are babies out there who are experiencing actual pain, and I don't even want to talk about it because it's so heartbreaking. But just know that you parents out there going through, trials and tribulations, know that you're not alone. Know that raising a baby is not an easy experience. There are people who make it out to be this magical journey, and while yes, it does turn out to be a magical journey in the beginning, it's difficult. It's your life being changed forever. It's you having to make sure that this little one survives. Zayn? Hi, baby. You saying hello? You saying hello to all your friends? Yes, because you're a little cutie pie. Yes. Ooh. Cutie pie. So this video is just to say hi It was to tell you what's going on and why there haven't been much vlogs. Just give me 1 second because the camera is falling. Yeah, it was to let you all in on what's going on with Zayn, and to say that we have not forgotten you guys. I have all the videos on my laptop, it's just to edit it, but that editing, that hour that I need, I don't get it. I hardly ever do get 10 minutes to myself. Thank God for mommy, who is I should say, a second mother to Zayn, who's up. Yeah, you wake up. Yes. But you can follow me on Instagram at Trini_Anandi. I post every day. I put up pictures of Zayn's progress, letting you know what he's doing on that day, where we're going, what we're eating. So you could follow us on Instagram. And as soon as I get a moment to put up a vlog, I will. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the viewers, or thanks to all the viewers I met over the past week who gave me really inspirational words about being a mother, and about, you know, Zayn being sick, and, you know, telling me how to be strong. I really am appreciative of the support. And the reason why I keep pausing while I'm talking is because I'm waiting to hear the cry to see if he's hungry. But it seems like he's fine. Zayn, you woke up to say hi to your friends? You're still sheepy? You're a sheepy baby. Are you sheepy? No? Are you sheepy boy? You're a baby boy? Okay. Say bye-bye. Bye. So thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you in our next vlog. But in the meantime, as I said, follow me on Instagram. Bye. Say bye, baby. Oh, you close your eyes? Say bye. Bye.